we're stepping into the shadows of the world's multi-billion-dollar recycling industry. And look in there. That is huge. To find out why Canada's blue box plastic ends up on the other side of the world. So we're about 5 hours north of Malaysia's capital. This is really the epicenter for the plastics recycling industry. So we're gonna take our hidden cameras inside some of their factories. And the reason we're doing hidden camera is this is a very secretive industry. We've created a fake company. We're calling it Market Plastics. We're pretending to be plastic dealers visiting from Canada.
I'm good.
All right, I can see you, you can see me.
We're good. All right.
Inside this factory, we see workers exposed to potentially toxic fumes without proper protection.
Cheap labor? Cheap?
Yeah, very cheap.
We're offering to sell the owners Canadian plastic.
We have lots of good, we have lots of stuff.
They want it,
They can start trying with 2 to 4 containers. Okay. Let's see. Okay.
but there's a catch.
But if the government knew, they would shut it down. Illegal. Yeah, it's illegal. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Recycling is so profitable, they're willing to break the law to get your plastic. The recycling business is a mystery to most of us. That's why we're testing the system in the province with Canada's best recycling record, British Columbia. It's where we're buying our own used plastic, 9 tons of it, and hiring 3 companies with big green promises to recycle it for us. But what they don't know, we're tracking their every move. Whoa. Big mountain of plastic in there. We know Malaysia is a dumping ground for Canadian plastic. Holy moly. Look at how big this is. Just take a look. Look how far it goes. This is just one dump. One dump. A vast field of plastic 2 stories high. It's cheaper to send here rather than recycle at home. See if we can look on the back here. Marysville, Ohio. I mean, it gives you the sense of just how far this stuff has come, completely to the other side of the world, only to be dumped. This is from Italy, Pennsylvania, New York. Look, Walmart bag. It's like a world tour, but in a big pile of what was supposed to be recycled and is instead just, you know, polluting this land. To find Canadian plastic, we need to sneak into this recycler's yard. Okay, let's do it. This is Canadian Tire. This is Marketplace IGA. This is Real Canadian Superstore. Compliments, Water, the Dollar Store. A sea of Canadian plastics, now likely to be dumped or burned. Lots more Canadian. Another no frills. Area code 604, British Columbia. It's just Canadian plastic waste intended for recycling all over the place here. And it's like a mountain with no indication any work's being done. The reason why? This place has been shut down. Malaysia is raiding ports where plastic arrives, trying to stop the flow.
This is garbage from Canada.
Does this make you angry?
Of course, I hope that makes citizens of Canadians angry as well.
Environment Minister Yobi Yin says her ministry has shut down about 150 illegal recyclers, but it's clear Canadian plastic is still pouring in. This is smuggling.
Citizens in the developed country, actually they do not know that this is happening, and they diligently separate their waste.
Most of us take the time to recycle, But few of us go as far as Natasha Samara from Burnaby, BC. So why do you do this? Like, this is not most people.
I hope it's most people.
Natasha doesn't just recycle her plastic.
All right,
Okay.
that's it.
She goes a step further,
Making it right.
Okay.
collecting anything that isn't picked up by the city and taking it to the depot herself.
I think that if the municipalities are promoting recycling, I trust that once it gets to their hands, that they're actually processing it. And that's it.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
Okay, away we go.
I think that we have a responsibility to do our part to take those resources and renew them and reuse them as many times as we can.
But is that what's happening with our plastic? And why is so much ending up in Malaysia?
Now, I don't dare to deep breathe outside my house because you can smell and you can breathe the very odor, burning smell.
Lydia Ong wants to show the world the consequences.
Air is very heavy. The air is full of dust.
And what is that dust?
It's from the pollution, the dust from the plastics recycling factory. Okay, here.
The former politician turned activist takes us to the site of what was once a pristine forest. This is what it looks like now.
That's the burning plastic.
Yes, it's like sound, you see? Pum, 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 pum. You can hear the sound, fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and you see the smoke.
Yes. They just dump here and then they burn it. Because this is like, nobody care.
They make their money by recycling.
Yes.
So why would they dump it and burn it?
Cut costs. So the factory, the recycle plastic factory, they dump all the waste that they cannot recycle anymore or they don't use anymore or low value, they dump here.
As we're leaving, fires have started. Oh, now you smell it. All of this plastic burning again. I don't know if someone's lit it on fire since we've been further back there in the forest, or if just the heat has started up again. We're not going to hang out here long because this is a lot of toxic chemicals going up into the sky. All out there, they're all factories.
Yes.
Yvonne Chi and her family are exposed to the toxic air every day.
What is it like living around all of this plastic recycling?
Very bad.
And it's her family paying the price.
Now my son, I scared he always sick. I scared become more serious. Yeah, you have to tell your people, so you must let them know. So how to manage the rubbish.
Don't send it here.
Yes, yes.
We head next to a company that employs 1,000 workers.
There's people right here.
Some of them live on the factory site, and once again, we see them exposed to those potentially toxic fumes.
Eric. Hello.
We represent a significant amount of Canadian plastic that needs to be moved. It's post-consumer.
The CEO tells us we'll need to lie on the shipping label to get our plastics in.
It's actually a friend's company.
But there's more.
They pay them to do it.
Yeah, okay.
Good for business.
Yeah.
It's a
little margin,
Everyone makes some money.
He admits to taking kickbacks from other companies to illegally import plastic for them. And in our case, from Canada.
So where are we heading right now?
Back with Lydia, who has one more place to show us.
We are heading to the river that was badly polluted. The river is going through the whole Sungai Petani town.
She believes it's why people in her town are getting sick.
We don't want to be the next cancer village.
So upriver
Yes,
is all the recycling industry.
yes.
When you think that what might be polluting your water is plastic that's coming from a place like Canada. What do you think?
We don't want to be international tong sampah. We don't want to be international rubbish bin.
So we just scoop here. There's a film on top, and in that film are these tiny little white plastic pieces, pellets, that are being ejected upriver from those recycling plants. Well, this brings it home, doesn't it? Those tiny white pellets, the billions of them there, were a juice container or a salad container or something just a few months ago. And now they're here. People are fishing here, there's farms downriver. It gives you a sense of the impact. And all of this plastic, of course, is coming from places like Canada.
The truth about recycling continues. We're testing the Canadian recycling system, buying 9 tons of plastic, diverting it to a warehouse in BC, and installing satellite tracking devices.
We want it to be invisible to the eye.
Haley and Chris are with the Basel Action Network. They specialize in covert tracking.
They connect with a GPS satellite every 2 to 3 minutes and then show you on a map within 10 meters where they are.
If these get in trucks, we'll be able to see where they go. If they get on ships, we'll get to see where they go.
Yep.
No problem with any of that.
Yeah, they work worldwide.
Let's put these Trojan plastic bales back in the recycling stream. By getting 3 companies with ties to recycling programs to haul it away. Merlin Plastics says it's committed to a more sustainable future. GFL, an environmental solutions leader. Waste Connections encourages recycling and reuse. Recycling is a billion-dollar business in Canada.
Recycling works very well for the recycling industry because it makes a huge profit.
And this expert thinks that's part of the problem.
Does it work well for the environment? No. Does it work well for the Canadian population? No. Does it work well for our stance in the world? No.
Myra Hurd is a waste management expert at Queen's University.
So environmentally, recycling is not a good idea.
Really?
Really.
There's a lot of people who are taking the blue bin out to the curb.
Absolutely, yes.
Would think, what are you talking about?
So,
but is that not true?
Well, no, it's not true at all. Because every time we recycle some kind of item, some kind of product, that means that it's undergoing some kind of chemical process, which creates its own waste.
Should we just not be recycling?
Well, recycling should be really down as a last resort.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes.
We always heard it in school, right?
Yes, and we all grew up with this.
But we just go directly to recycling.
But we go to recycling because that's the easiest one.
We show Myra what we discovered in Malaysia.
You see it there, plastic being melted down.
No safety equipment.
So you really are left wondering, is that what people had in mind when they took their recycling out?
I think Canadians will be shocked and highly disturbed, as they should be.
Back in Vancouver, our trackers are on the move.
Okay, so straight down this road.
The first batch, taken by Merlin Plastics to recycle, stays in BC. We're on its trail with Natasha.
A third of our stuff ended up right here.
Okay.
They tell us it was cut up, reprocessed, and pelletized, which means turned into tiny little small pieces. In short, it's being recycled.
That's great.
What about the plastic we sent to GFL? Turns out it also stayed in BC, but not to be recycled.
So, what does it say up there?
Waste to energy facility.
Our plastic bale came in here, went in there, and they incinerated it.
Okay.
They burned it.
No. I didn't realize that plastic was getting burned.
GFL tells us there isn't demand for our kind of plastic, so burning it is the cost-effective solution.
Yeah. That doesn't seem quite right. I think there's a lot of energy that probably goes into the production of the plastic on the front end, and then for it to only be used once and then literally burned is crazy.
In fact, burning creates toxic ash that needs to be disposed of. Finally, there's the batch with waste connections.
You see the trucks that are in there.
Yeah.
It's also still in BC.
What does that look like to you?
Dump trucks.
And Natasha is in for a surprise.
I mean, you see,
Holy, yeah.
it's all just going in. I mean, this is a landfill.
Yeah.
It's just where you figured it would end up.
No, it's definitely not where I thought my recycling would end up.
Remember, Waste Connections encourages recycling and reuse.
This is like the opposite of what I think is happening to that magical blue box.
This is the thing you're trying to avoid.
Yeah. Even when you make an effort to put it in the blue bin, if it still ends up here, that's discouraging.
Discouraging, but as it turns out, not illegal. Recycling haulers in BC have no obligation to actually recycle the plastic. In this case, Waste Connections says there was a miscommunication. And that's why our plastic landed in the landfill.
It's really shocking to see this and to hear that, because that's definitely not the story that we're told about what happens to our recycling or why we should recycle.
This is your marketplace. Mountains of our plastic burned overseas.
Now my son, I scared he always sick.
Tons of it dumped in a Canadian landfill.
Disappointing, for sure.
The system seems broken. Turns out only 9% of plastic is recycled in Canada. That's why experts always point to one solution: use less plastic. But behind the scenes, a powerful group is fighting that solution.
Plastic use actually protects the environment, but most of all, it protects human health.
Joe Hariska helped pioneer the Blue Box. Now he represents the Canadian plastics industry, including many recyclers.
We're here to make sure the right policies are in place to manage all packaging, not just plastics.
But policies aimed at curbing plastic use have been attacked by his group's members. In 2012, the industry fought against Toronto's proposed plastic bag ban. And when Victoria tried the same, they went to court and won.
To the observer on the side, it might well seem hypocritical to say recycling's going to work so much better, trust us, it's coming, and at the same time be fighting in court.
So I don't see it as hypocritical. The plastic bag is actually one of the most highly reused items around. It has a 90% reuse and recycling rate. So when it comes to reduction, plastics is the epitome of reduction.
If plastics is the epitome of reduction, why are millions of Canadian bags ending up overseas and in Canada's landfills?
These are bags that are from a bunch of Canadian brands. There's No Frills. This one is from Walmart. This is from one of the co-op stores, a Canadian Tire. All big Canadian brands, all from Canadian stores. All of it we found in Malaysia.
Someone made a choice to not recycle it here in North America, okay?
Or is that a good choice?
Well, I don't think it's a good choice. If we can't recycle it here in Canada, let's work with all 4 R's. At least keep it out of the landfill. That is the better environmental practice.
Has recycling been working?
We can always do better. When it comes to plastics, our target is 100% recycling and recovery of those materials.
But we're a long, long way from that right now. At 9% of the plastic that we use in this country being recycled. Why should people believe you now?
It sounds like a bridge too far, but I really believe with the new technology in the collection that 100% is possible.
But we're nowhere close yet. So now what? For eager recyclers like Natasha, who's seen firsthand a recycling system seemingly broken.
Seeing this, knowing what's happened, will it cause you to change your habits?
I want to say no, because I still am maybe a little bit hopeful, but this drives that home, that if it's not getting recycled the way that I think it should be, then I should probably even use less.
This isn't the end of the story. We're going to keep following the business of recycling, and we want to hear from you. Email us, marketplace@cbc.ca, and join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.